back to that defensive side of the ball, and when I look at these teams, Greg, I just think, man, these are defenses that can stop anybody in the league, and that's where you've got to invest in this division.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so fascinating about Cincinnati is they're kind of the outlier. They're the pass-heavy, they're the spread attack, they've got unbelievable weapons on the outside. Obviously, Joe Burrow, a quarterback. But it was the defense, and you said it, their inability to be as good on the defensive side of the ball as Baltimore, as Pittsburgh, traditionally, but especially last year, is really what allowed them to be the odd man looking in when they missed the playoffs. So I think if Cincinnati can just improve a little bit on defense, they have the offense to now enter and make it a three-man race in the AFC North.
We'll line up at the 3-yard line again. We'll try to punch it in on 3rd and goal. They'll try to run this one in. And he barrels his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers.
And this is what good offenses in the NFL do, Mike. It's the ability to bounce back, even if the onset of the game doesn't go exactly according to plan. Everybody wants to take their opening possession and go down there and come away with a touchdown. But it's not always going to be perfect. You turn it over on possession 1. What are you going to do in response on possession 2? Well, we just got our answer, and they took it down for 6.
The extra point, up and good. And the Steelers will level things out at 7 apiece. So back to level after the touchdown. Time for the kickoff. Now return coming from the 7. And he'll be brought down just beyond the 25-yard line. The Jets offense. And their running back set to go once more. Greg, this AFC East, a division that really has been dominated by the Bills. The 5 straight division titles. It's hard to see who can knock them off that perch right now.
Yeah, and I think until someone decides that that's going to change, I think you just have to assume that Buffalo remains the king of the East. And I think when you look at the bottom of the division with the Jets and New England, they're clearly in a rebuild. You know, quarterbacks, new coaching staffs, trying to kind of get themselves out of the bottom of the division. Miami seems to me, I don't know if they're ready to compete necessarily with Buffalo directly, but Miami is a playoff caliber roster, a playoff caliber team. They've showed it in years past. So if anybody's ready to compete, I think it's Miami. I just don't know, Mike, if they are ready top to bottom over the length of the season to get enough wins to keep pace with a team as good as Buffalo.
And 2 new coaches at the bottom of the standings last year, the Jets and the Patriots. And Greg, both guys who played for a long time in the league and bring a certain amount of toughness to the top of the organizations.
Absolutely, and it was very clear exactly what New York and New England were looking for. They wanted culture setters, right? It wasn't about getting the fancy play caller. It wasn't about the X's and O's. They needed to establish an identity and a culture of excellence and of winning. So no question, Mike, there was a very clear mission, a clear path to landing on.
Oh, he's going to be bottled up and taken down. They got him. 3rd down and 9.
A loss of 5. It's now 3rd and 9.
They'll throw out of the gun. Off-balance throw. It's complete. And he'll be stopped short of the 1st down, and that will necessitate a call to the punt team. It's 4th down. That is good coverage by the punt team as they meet him and bring him down. And they'll elect not to run another play. Instead, just take a knee and take this on into the locker room.
Okay, Mike, thanks very much. Welcome in, everyone. Scott Hansen here in our thankfully dry studios in Orlando. That's obviously not the case at the stadium, where the rain continues to play a factor in this game. Who will take better advantage of it in the second half? To find out the answer, let's go back out to the stadium and rejoin our commentary team, Mike Tirico and Greg Olson.
Hey, Scott, thank you. intensifying now as the teams have come back out. This figures to be a wet and wild second half to come. He fields it at the 8. And this will work out quite well. He'll get it all the way out to the 30-yard line. The Steelers offense ready to get going again. They'll have it first in this third quarter. You know, Greg, early on, it's always new faces in different places. Off-season movement, what caught your eye?
I think there's so many good ones, right? You talk about Stephon Diggs. He ends up in New England, and Cooper Kupp now. He's moving on to Seattle from the Rams. But I think it's the guy the Rams signed to replace him, Davante Adams. I know he's not the youngest anymore, but watching him play in New York with Aaron Rodgers last year with the Jets, he can still run. He can still make every catch. He can still go up and compete at the high point. I think you put Davante Adams with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, in that offense run by Sean McVay. I think that's a sneaky, maybe not a sneaky because he's a really household name, but I think that's a great signing by the Rams.
And always interesting from the offseason, the quarterback movement and unique ties. Some of the biggest names were or now are Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, now the guy that is going to line up behind center for Seattle, Mike, is Sam Darnold. And, of course, we all saw that incredible season he had last year in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and that really dynamic Vikings offense. So now he goes to Seattle. I think he's going to have an inspired Cooper Kupp. He was let go from the Rams. If he's healthy, he's a big weapon. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he has some pieces in that puzzle that he can push the ball downfield to. So I'm excited to see Sam. That's what everyone thought he was going to be coming out of college when he was a high draft pick of the New York Jets. Every team in the league has their own set of scramble rules. And what that means, Mike, is when the pocket breaks down and the quarterback gets flushed, everyone understands based on where they are in the field how they can remain friendly to the quarterback. Great execution here leads to a nice game.
Give on the ground, and he'll be hauled down at about the 35-yard line. Give him 15 more on that one. They are on the move. It's a first down.
And we're starting to see the fruits of their labor paying off here. I mean, they've used this run game to throw a bunch of body blows throughout the entire contest, and while some of the carries didn't result in much at the time, it's clear they're starting to take its toll on this defense.
Let's go. Up the middle they go. And good blocking up front, paving the way for a gain of 8 on the ground.
It's a gain of 9. Brings up second and a yard.
Hawk 70.
He'll look to throw. Side by Cooper.
Really nice job here by the quarterback, understanding what did he need to pick up a fresh set of downs. In this case, that underneath drag route was all it took. Get the ball into the hands of your receiver, pick up a first down.
Now a run, and it's their fullback with the carry. Trying to use that big body to get the yardage, but he is stopped for no gain.
No gain on the play.
On second and 10, they'll try to throw. That one incomplete. Good job, textbook there, separated the man from the ball, and it'll bring up third down.
Brings up third down and 10.
They'll run. This is their fullback getting the carry. And he's got nowhere to go. That defensive front controlling the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up fourth down.
A gain of only a yard. It's fourth down.
Anderson's kick is good. Now it appears we've got a Steeler injured on that play. He'll get himself looked at, but this is not how you want to begin a new campaign. Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. This one fielded at the 15. And he'll be taken down right at the 29-yard line. The Jets offense trotting back out for their first involvement of this second half. So, Greg, you start to think about, okay, who are the teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that have a chance this year? Look, it happens every year. We just have to identify who they are. Who are a couple top-of-mind for you as we start 2025?
As I start in the AFC, I think the Cincinnati Bengals, and you got to think the way their season ended last year, they rattle off 5 wins straight, really on the back of Joe Burrow. We could have made the argument, if they're a playoff team, that Joe Burrow was the best player in the league. I mean, he was incredible. Most weeks, Mike, he single-handedly carried that offense. New defensive coordinator in Al Golden coming from the college ranks. Can he just make that defense in Cincinnati average? Because if they just play a little bit better with that high-profile offense, I think they're a team. They might not win the division with Baltimore, but they're going to be close and maybe at least get one of those wild card spots.
Why don't you flip it over? Who are the guys you're watching in the NFC?
You know, I think Dallas is going to find themselves, just the fact that I know the division is difficult. Obviously, Philadelphia remains really strong. Does Washington kind of regress a little bit back now in year 2? They were the high-profile, big splash team of last year. Do they regress to the median? Time will tell. But I think healthy Dallas, healthy Dak, healthy Michael Parsons, that roster that we saw play last year is not the roster on paper that we expected to see. So I think Dallas has a chance. I think San Francisco always is going to be a team, again, dealt with their own injuries last year with McCaffrey and all the stuff on defense. So I think San Francisco and Dallas are 2 perennial teams we expect to be in the playoff hunt. They missed out last year. I wouldn't be shocked to see them back in it again this year.
So they come to the line for first down and 10.
Here we go.
Fourth quarter begins on the ground. And he'll try to keep his footing, manages to work it ahead for a couple of yards.
So I think as you look back over the course of this game, it's really been the inability of this offense, Mike, to create any sort of balanced attack to get anything going. And whether you look at the rushing yards, whether you look at just the points scored, this offense has to find a way going forward to generate more big plays and more balance, both run and pass. And they've really done a nice job defensively holding them in check. I mean, ideally, you'd want your back to average around 4 yards a pop, but they're falling short of that threshold as of now, and partially it's why they find themselves trailing at this stage in the game.
And a good short tackle right there. It stops him a good distance short of the marker. It sets up fourth down. On now comes the punt team for the Jets. They'll be forced to punt, trailing here in the fourth quarter. And that's going to work out well. Out of bounds, and they mark it inside the 5-yard line. The Steelers offense makes their way back out to the field for their next possession. And they're going to hear it from this crowd. They're backed up deep as they start first and 10. The Steelers going to use one of their timeouts, and they'll get a chance to catch their breath over on the sideline.